September 10th, 2025, Utah Valley University, Orem, Utah. It was supposed to be another ordinary day on campus. Students spilled out of classrooms, some hurrying across the quad for their next lecture, others lingering in groups, buzzing with energy. That afternoon, hundreds gathered in the open courtyard, drawn by the presence of a man who had made his name by sparking debates across America. Charlie Kirk. At just 31, he was already one of the most recognizable voices in conservative politics. For his followers, this was a rare opportunity to see him in person. For others, it was a chance to challenge him, to push back against the ideas he championed. The stage was set for a battle of ideas, but what unfolded instead was a nightmare no one could have predicted. At 12:10 p.m., a single gunshot cut through the chatter. Screams followed instantly, piercing the calm of the afternoon. Students ducked behind benches and scattered across the quad. A podium, just minutes earlier the center of attention, now stood abandoned, smeared with blood. Amid the chaos, Charlie Kirk fell to the ground. A man known to millions, admired by some, criticized by others, was suddenly lifeless on the pavement. The shooter did not wait for questions. He did not linger to explain. He fired once and then vanished into the crowd. In that moment, Utah Valley University was transformed from a place of learning into a crime scene, and the country was left in shock. To understand the gravity of what happened on that September afternoon, you have to understand who Charlie Kirk was and the world he lived in. Charlie Kirk wasn't just a speaker. He was the founder of Turning Point USA, an organization he started back in 2012 when he was only 18 years old. Its mission was clear: to spread conservative ideals on college campuses, often in spaces where those ideas clashed head-on with prevailing progressive views. Over the years, Kirk became known for his style: sharp, direct, unafraid of confrontation. Clips of him debating students on topics like immigration, climate change, and transgender rights often went viral, fueling both admiration and outrage. By 2025, he had grown into more than just a campus activist. He was a podcaster, a speaker, a political figure in his own right. He was a trusted ally of President Donald Trump, someone with access to the highest levels of conservative politics. But with visibility came conflict. His critics accused him of spreading division. His supporters hailed him as a defender of free speech. Everywhere he went, protests and counter-protests followed. And so, when Kirk appeared at Utah Valley University, it wasn't just another college event. It was a flashpoint, a moment where two opposing visions of America, one rooted in traditional conservatism, the other in progressive activism, collided. The university itself was no stranger to debate. UVU, located in Orem, is one of the fastest growing campuses in Utah. Its student body is diverse, young people with different political identities, many still forming their views about the world. For some, Charlie Kirk's presence was exciting. For others, it was infuriating. But no one, not even his fiercest critics, expected violence. No one thought the debates would be cut short by gunfire. And yet, that's exactly what happened. The world now had to grapple with a chilling question. Was this a random act of violence, or was it something far more deliberate, a targeted assassination in broad daylight? The shooter's escape left behind chaos, confusion, and panic. The first 911 calls poured in within seconds. Students sobbing, others whispering from hiding places, trying to describe what they had seen. Some said the shooter shouted something before pulling the trigger. Others swore he said nothing at all. Police were on the scene within minutes. The Orem Police Department, Utah County Sheriff's Office, and state troopers quickly locked down the campus. Students were evacuated, classrooms searched, and helicopters circled overhead. Within the hour, The FBI was involved. The question on everyone's lips: was this an act of terrorism, a political assassination, or something else entirely? Law enforcement began reconstructing the shooting. Cell phone videos were collected. Surveillance cameras were pulled. Witnesses were separated and interviewed. Forensic teams marked the ground where the bullet casing had fallen, noting the trajectory, the distance, the angle. Early reports indicated a man had been detained near the scene. He fit some of the vague descriptions: a young male wearing dark clothing seen running from the quad. But within hours, police confirmed he had been questioned and released. His fingerprints didn't match any evidence, and witnesses contradicted each other about his involvement. That left investigators with fragments. No clear suspect, no confirmed motive, just a growing pool of possibilities. Was the shooter someone with a personal vendetta against Kirk? Was it a student who disagreed with his politics? Or was it someone from outside the university entirely? Someone who had tracked Kirk's schedule, waiting for the perfect opportunity? In those first hours, every possibility was on the table. And as agents combed through the evidence, they found themselves caught in the middle of something bigger than just a campus shooting. Charlie Kirk had been a polarizing figure, and that meant the suspect pool was wide, too wide. Activist groups, online extremists, lone wolves, all of them suddenly became part of the investigation. As the hours passed, new details began to surface. Some witnesses insisted the shooter shouted a political slogan before pulling the trigger. Others claimed the attack was silent, swift, and methodical. The contradictions made it difficult for investigators to build a single, reliable account. But then came the surveillance footage. Cameras positioned at the edge of campus captured a shadowy figure leaving the grounds just minutes after the shooting. The person moved quickly, head down, hands shoved into their pockets. Not long after, police found something discarded a few blocks away: a backpack. Inside were maps of Utah Valley University, a burner phone, and scribbled notes that appeared to reference Charlie Kirk's schedule. The discovery raised chilling questions. Had the shooter been planning this for days, weeks? Was this random or calculated? Online chatter soon became another lead. Extremist forums lit up within minutes of the shooting. Some users celebrated Kirk's death. Others claimed responsibility. But in the world of anonymous online postings, truth and deception blur together. Was the shooter an extremist who had been radicalized online? Or were these false claims meant only to mislead investigators? As pressure mounted, Utah Governor Spencer Cox stepped forward, calling the killing of Kirk a targeted political assassination. The FBI, careful with its words, labeled it an active domestic terror investigation. But in private, investigators admitted they still didn't have answers. Every lead raised more questions. Every suspect seemed plausible, but none could yet be tied directly to the crime. And in the middle of it all, one terrifying reality lingered. The shooter was still out there. In high-profile cases, the word breakthrough carries weight. And in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk shooting, every new piece of evidence felt like it could be that turning point. Forensic teams combed through the backpack. The maps were marked with circles, specific locations where Kirk had been scheduled to appear. The burner phone, though encrypted, revealed faint traces of recent activity. And while no fingerprints were found, investigators were hopeful that DNA analysis could eventually provide a match. At the same time, surveillance footage from nearby businesses was pulled. Frame by frame, analysts searched for anyone who matched the shadowy figures seen leaving campus. But the truth is this: as of September 11th, no arrest has been made. No suspect has been publicly identified. And while theories are circulating from political extremists to personal vendettas, authorities have yet to confirm a single motive. What we do know is this: The investigation is now one of the highest priority cases in the country. The FBI, ATF, and state agencies are working together, reviewing thousands of tips. Meanwhile, the political fallout has been swift. Allies of Charlie Kirk have called for answers, some demanding stronger security for public figures. Critics warn against rushing to judgment, reminding the public that the facts are still emerging. And in this moment, with no charges filed, no trial scheduled, and no clear answers, the nation is left suspended, waiting, watching, hoping for clarity. Today, just one day after the shooting, the truth is still unfolding. We don't yet know who pulled the trigger. We don't know if it was political, personal, or something else entirely. What we do know is that Charlie Kirk's death has shaken the country. For his supporters, it feels like a targeted attack on a man they saw as a defender of free speech. For his critics, it's a reminder of the deep divisions in American life. And for everyone watching, it's a sobering reminder of how quickly a public gathering can turn into tragedy. Investigators say they are working around the clock. Every tip is being followed. Every video is being analyzed. But so far, the shooter remains unidentified, and the motive remains a mystery. One thing is certain: this story is not over. The investigation is active. The search continues. And the questions about motive, about security, about the future of public debate in America are only just beginning. As we close, remember this: Charlie Kirk's killing is not just a headline. It is a crime scene, a case under investigation, and a moment of reckoning for a nation already divided. One man, one moment, one shot. On September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk's life ended on a college campus where ideas were meant to clash, not bullets. What followed was an investigation that reached from classrooms to courtrooms, from encrypted forums to the highest levels of government. And still, the nation is left with questions. Who is truly responsible? Was this preventable? And has justice, whatever that means, really been served? The facts are still coming together. The investigation is ongoing. And in the days ahead, we may learn much more than we know today. For every headline, there are families left behind. For every theory, there are wounds that will not heal. And for every case file, there are questions that will never be fully answered. The story of Charlie Kirk is not just about one man's death. It is about the fault lines of a nation still wrestling with truth, division, and the price of words. But for now, we are left with one haunting reality. A single gunshot, fired in broad daylight, silenced one of the most visible voices in American politics. And until the shooter is found, the questions will not stop. This is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning. We've walked through the evidence, the witnesses, but now the verdict belongs to you. Was Charlie Kirk the victim of political violence, a failure of institutions, or something even more complex? Tell us what you believe in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more stories like this, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us as we uncover the cases that continue to shape our world.